everybody. Welcome to this episode of Rush Roundtable. Today, we've got a fun episode. We are, I guess, more or less ranking our top 5 second songs on albums. So, just to clarify what that means, it's the song that comes after the first song on the whole album, not like sides, right? So, not sides of albums. It's literally the second song on the album.
The full
Um,
album.
yep, the whole album. We'll introduce the panel here real quick. A lot of familiar faces, but top left, Jim Benner. In the middle, myself, Ryan Murphy. Top right, from both Rush fans and the Contrarians, Todd Evans. Bottom left corner, Ralph Huffnagel. And bottom right corner, Pat Loftus. So if you're watching this live on the live premiere, we encourage you to, we started doing these live premieres recently, and we encourage you to, leave a comment, participate in the discussion. Tell us if you agree or disagree with our panel as we talk about this. I mean, of course, this is pre-recorded, but um, and let us know what your top 5 second album songs are. So, without further ado, we're gonna have Jim go, and I've asked all these
Ooh.
guys to rank them too. So start at number 5 and rank to what down is what you think is the best. So go ahead, Jim.
All right. So as always, ranking is never easy. So here we go. My ranking as of right now, which I'm sure will change 5 minutes from now. All right. So number 5 is Free Will. It's just such an exciting, energetic song, and that whole guitar solo section in the middle is just killer. It's fun to play. I guess most people probably know that I'm a drummer, and I've been playing that since I was a kid, I guess. Super fun to play, awesome to listen to, and I got to hear Free Will quite a few times live, so that's pretty exciting. Number 4 is Grand Designs, and I don't know if I have like a really good solid reason why Grand Designs is number 4, besides that I just absolutely love it. It's it's musical. I don't know. I can't really give a good reason. Maybe somebody could either kind of give me a hard time in the comments or say, yeah, I get it. It's fine. But I do love the ending part where they're doing the band hits together. That's always really fun. Number 3 is Red Barchetta, because it's I've heard Tom Sawyer a billion times and I love the song, but when Red Barchetta comes on, there's just always a huge excitement on it. I just love how Alex starts a guitar with his harmonics. I love how the song builds, the lyrics, how the lyrics are telling a story. Just kind of everything about it is perfect. And I love that car screech right at the beginning of that guitar solo. It just sounds so great. And if you ever get to see it live, Neil's big, huge stick toss right in the middle of that song too is very cool. Especially when you're how old was I? 13? A 13-year-old kid watching your very first Rush concert. That's super fun. All right, number 2 is Driven, because it's something that's really energetic. It's very different from anything else on Test for Echo. Very different from the title track for sure. Very, very technical, a lot of odd type signatures. Neil is doing a lot of different things with his drum part. He's taking ideas that he learned in his studies with Freddie Gruber and incorporating it, and it just sounds so good. And watching Neil play that on the Work in Progress DVD is amazing. I didn't even know what half the stuff he was doing until I actually watched it. And it's like, oh, that's what he's doing. Okay, good. So that one is super exciting.
Wait. Can we
Yeah,
guess
go
each
for it.
other's? Can we guess each other's first in their ranking?
You can't guess mine first because you're gonna get it right. Yeah, but yeah, go for it. You could guess last. How's that?
All
Guess
right.
last. All right, guys. What do you think? What do you think my first one is?
Mm, do you want me to
Ralph
just say it
Ralph
out
is
loud?
muted. I think is Ralph muted. Yeah, Ralph's muted.
Yeah,
Okay,
Ralph's
Xanadu.
muted. So
I
Ralph,
think
Ralph, you said Xanadu.
I said this,
Okay,
guess the same thing.
Xanadu. Pat, what do you think?
I'm gonna say BU2B.
U2B.
I
Okay,
was gonna say
Ryan.
Xanadu, yeah.
Yes, it is Xanadu. To me, Xanadu is like the iconic epic Rush song that's got like everything in it. So many different instruments are played. It goes through so many different changes. It's so musical. And the first time I heard it was from Exit Stage Left. So I had no idea what the studio version sounded like. I had no idea like how it really started because on Exit Stage Left, it moves from the trees right seamlessly into Xanadu. And I actually had asked a friend of mine, I'm like, dude, how does that start? This was years before like internet was even a dream, right? I said, how does that start, man? It's he had to tell me, but Xanadu is just like the Rush song to me, my favorite. So there we go. There's my five. Curious
Good
to see what
stuff.
people think of it.
Yeah, let us know in the comments what you or in the live chat if you're watching this live, what you think of Jim's. Let us know if you agree or disagree with it. So for me, I I guess I didn't just pick, my favorite five songs that happen to be second songs. I really tried to consider album or song placement on the album, comparatively to the other songs on the album, um, and also how it complements the opener. We've done a handful of different song placement type episodes in the past. Top five openers, top five closers. How could you rearrange a Rush album? Things like that. So I really tried to take that into account. So I'm looking for songs that not necessarily are cool down songs or anything after a banger of an opener, but a song that really complements the opener. So you got a lot of Rush openers are the best songs on the album. I mean, right? I mean, I think we probably can all agree on that. I mean, they were the hits, whatever. Um, so I'm really looking for something that complements that. So for my number five, I am going to Snakes and Arrows. I'm going Armor and Sword. Because I think it's a very good complement to Far Cry. Far Cry being, in my opinion, one of the best Rush songs post like 1990. I think they hit it out of the park with Far Cry, and you really needed a song that complemented it. Of course, it's a banger of an opener. It's heavy. It's kind of Rush back to their roots. You get the hemispheres chord in there. But Armor and Sword, um, I think it's kind of cool down ish. It's not obviously not as heavy, but it's still heavy in lyrics, thematically. Um, and I think it just fits perfectly as a second song on that record. Um, my number four, I'm doing all this off the top of my head. I didn't take any notes, so I apologize, but I figured it'd come out more organically. My number four, I'm going to Roll the Bones, and my number four is Bravado.
Oh, yeah, nice
Um,
tune.
yeah,
Yeah.
Dreamline.
Oh, yeah.
This is kind of similar to the Snakes and Arrows analogy, right? So Dreamline's kind of the banger opener that everybody loves, and now I will say these five tracks that I've picked are also kind of beloved tracks to the fan base too, in a way, I think. They're definitely tracks that, fans, at least in my research, which is research on Facebook opinions and Reddit opinions and Instagram comments and all that. But um, yeah, Bravado. It's a beautiful track. Again, it's kind of sort of the cool down song. It's a lot more lower, I guess, volume, slower tempo, all that type of deal. But um, definitely complements Dreamline perfectly. I think that's
Yeah.
1A 1B songs on Roll the Bones, and I think it's a perfect second song. So number three is I'm going to Permanent Waves, Free Will, because you can't have the spirit of radio without free will, right? I mean, I feel like they're hand in hand. That like they just go together.
True.
They're counterparts. They're things that go together. Now, why isn't this higher on the list? Because I do feel like perhaps this album is a little bit top heavy. I know Natural Science kicks ass and Jacob's Ladder is great, but I definitely feel like the two hits are right at the top. And for such a short album, it is a little bit top heavy. Maybe Free Will could have opened side two of that record, right? And maybe you could have fit Andre New up underneath the Spirit of Radio, but
Yeah.
could have constructed that album a little bit differently. But that's why this isn't higher on my list. But these two songs do go hand in hand to me. They complement each other perfectly again. Um, and everything else Jim said, I second. Um, Number two, I'm going to Moving Pictures and Red Barchetta. And again, everything that Jim said. Now, to me, Tom Sawyer is not one of my favorite Rush songs. It's the Rush song that I've kind of grown tired of. I think a lot of fans might say that. I mean, Geddy himself has said
It's
that, right? It's
yeah.
it's it's a great song, don't get me wrong, but it's one that's like the quintessential Rush song you hear on the radio all the time. That it's kind of
It's
one that I
overplayed.
yeah,
It's overplayed.
right.
That's all.
There's about
Yeah.
20 other songs that they probably could play in rotation,
Hmm.
right? Um, so, but that being said, again, complimentary. To me, it's you don't have Tom Sawyer without Red Barchetta. You don't have Red Barchetta without Tom Sawyer. And I always find myself looking forward to Red Barchetta after I've listened to Tom Sawyer. So if I listen to Tom
Oh yeah.
Sawyer on the radio, right, if it shows up on the radio, then I have to go to my iPhone and go put Red Barchetta on just because I always feel like they complement. Um, so my number one thoughts,
Well, yeah, second song. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna use that one. I'm gonna say the Analog Kid.
Todd,
Uh, I'm gonna say Xanadu again.
Ralph,
Xanadu.
Pat.
Grand Designs because you're a Power Windows
I
guy.
was waiting for one of you to say
Good
that.
one.
So actually, it's what Jim said. It's Analog Kid. So I will just exclaim with Xanadu though. I
Ah,
considered Xanadu
awesome
fantastic
song.
song, but
Yeah.
it feels weird to me being the second track on the album. That's all. It just feels kind of funky to
Really?
me. Yeah, it just feels. I don't know.
Wow.
Again, it's the
I
permanent
don't
waves thing that I
know.
said. Like it's such a short album with the Feral the Kings.
Yeah.
I don't know where else you
Yeah.
would put it, but it doesn't feel like a second song to me. I
To
think
me,
maybe closer to the
it's in the
heart,
right
maybe.
place, but
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like it's second.
Yeah, right.
Huh.
So the Analog Kid. Why did I choose the Analog Kid? Okay, so um, subdivisions, right? I mean, that's my favorite Rush song, and I always find myself same thing with like Tom Sawyer to Red Barchetta. If I hear subdivisions, I always find myself searching for the Analog Kid, and it's a song that is. If you're a Rush fan and you tell me you don't like the Analog Kid, I'm going to tell you you're lying, right?
What?
I'm not going to tell you you're wrong because I can't tell you your opinion's wrong, right? But to me, I wouldn't believe you. Like I feel like the Analog Kid
Yeah.
is like the quintessential Rush deep-ish cut, right? So it's like it's the song that probably should have been or could have been a hit, but it is also kind of deep. But it just flows so well after subdivisions. And after I hear subdivisions, I'm just looking for that banger of a solo. I'm just looking for that awesome riff at the opening of that song. I just feel like it's a perfect second track for Signals, what they were trying to accomplish on Signals, and moving after you know subdivisions on
Yeah.
side one there. So yeah, Analog Kid.
Cool.
So let me know in the comments what you think of my five there, and we'll go to Todd. What do you got?
Okay, well, I base my choices based on whether or not it fits together with the opening track, whether there's a continuity between the end of the first track and the beginning of the second track that feels like it has flow. And also I thought about the casual fan and if they liked the first track, will they like the second one and will they want to listen to the
Hmm.
rest of the album?
Yep.
So
Okay.
that's kind of what I based it on. But my number five is Chain Lightning. And
Oh. Wow.
I love Chain Lightning so much because I think that I like how it's kind of simple and it has like Show Don't Tell before it has some space in it. And I feel like anybody who would like Show Don't Tell would also like Chain Lightning. I think they go together well, and I like the humor at the end. I think that that was a really good touch of the voice at the end,
Yep.
and so and you know I feel like I feel like Presto is perfectly sequenced inside one, and I think that's really cool because it was so different because it's got 6 songs on side one, but I think that every single one of those 6 songs is in exactly the right place,
Yeah,
especially Chain Lightning. So my number
cool.
4 is Grand Designs because I feel like after the big money, it goes really well with it. It's got kind of an opening that you can't really ignore. It's kind of in your face, and I love like Jim said about the part at the end, the kind of jam at the end. I think
Yeah.
is so effective, and so yeah, it's always been to me. It's always been like uh, like Ryan said with the moving pictures. It's big money and grand designs. If I hear big money, I have to hear grand designs. Um, my number
Agree with
three
that.
is a free will. Um, I initially had this lower and I moved it up. I feel like the energy in that opening riff really just kind of smacks you in the face. And I feel like if you were standing in front of Neil, you'd be able to feel the wind from how hard
Yeah.
he's hitting the drums there. And
Yeah.
I just think it's a really exciting song. The melody just kind of moves a lot, and it goes really well with Spirit of Radio, and it's the perfect thing to be between Spirit of Radio and Jacob's Ladder. So um, my number 2 is the Analog Kid, and the reason
Wow.
I picked it is because I think after Subdivisions, now I think Subdivisions is awesome. I love the synths
Ooh.
at the beginning of it. And
Oh,
but if you were somebody who was listening to signals after you've been really familiar with permanent waves and moving pictures, then the Analog Kid would be
mm,
kind of a breath of fresh air because you'd be like, oh, okay, there's the rhythm section and there's Alex, and I like the way it starts out really just guitar bass drums, and then you get the keyboard atmospheres in the chorus. And so I think that it's a great thing to be next to Subdivisions because it's so different from it. And it's also one of their best songs. So that's another
yeah.
reason.
It is.
And my number one, oh, I'm sorry,
Oh,
was somebody gonna say, we gonna say
yeah.
something,
Should
Jim?
we should we guess the number you're
Oh yeah, yeah,
guessing?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
looking
my
forward to
God.
this.
All right. Well, like I have no idea, so I'm just gonna throw it out there after Image.
I think I'm going bald.
It's a
It
good
does
tune.
seem
That's
like
a
something I'd
really
pick.
good tune, actually. It doesn't get any love, but it's a great song.
Yeah, I have an out there guess. I'm gonna say Time Stand Still.
I almost guessed that one.
PUTB.
Okay.
Ralph,
Well,
you
it is After Image, Jim's
Oh,
right.
Hi!
Nice,
And
nice, nice.
I've talked a lot until people are probably tired of hearing me talk about how great I think After Image is. I actually really love the fact that the bass is pedals. Instead, I think it's just a
Mm-hmm.
great, and again, it hits you from the first note with this wall of sound, and I think that's always a good thing to do with the second track. And it's one of my favorites. I think it's a really powerful piece of music, and I just love the way it
Yeah,
sounds with the bass pedals and all
Yeah.
that.
yeah, yeah, that's true. That's awesome. Yeah, it's such a great song from a great album.
Yeah.
Fantastic album.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's cool.
Let's
Thanks, sir.
Jim, you've got some Grace Under Pressure artwork there on yourself,
I
want
do.
want to show that off on the
Oh,
live?
yeah, sure. There we go.
Yeah.
So,
Let
funny
us
story.
let us know in the comments what you think
Yeah,
of Jim's white arms.
yeah, very, very pale. It's funny because I got it was my second tattoo I ever got, and I got it because I love the album and it reminds me to be graceful under pressure. And the funny story part about that, and you guys in the chat, and you guys can laugh too. I think my kids were in middle school, and my wife was on a business trip, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be back in about an hour, guys. I left and went to get the tattoo. And my wife texted me. She's like, are you getting a tattoo right now? I'm like, maybe. Because I left the kids home. Now, both of my kids were pretty darn mature, and they are very, very, very good children. They are 21 and 23 now. Uh, so, but anyway, I was kind of parent of the year for bailing on them and getting a tattoo.
Give it up for Parent of the Year, Jim. No, good pick, Todd. That crossed my mind as well.
Yeah,
After Image
yeah,
certainly did. Yep.
nice, great tune, man. Oh, wow.
All right, Ralph, what do you got?
All right. My number five is also Grand Designs. As picked for it's a great song. I love the rhythm, the keyboard sequence rhythm, Getty's bass line, the different rhythms Neil does, and even Alex's guitar, I think really shines out on that song. And again, yeah, great outro too.
Oh yeah.
For number four, I went with Xanadu. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
Well.
it could have been higher. Probably should have been higher. Yeah, I mean, it's hard what else to say about Xanadu except classic, epic Rush song, you know. And yeah, Exit Stage Left was the first version I had heard too. And right, so great. Three, I did BU2B.
Ah,
Yeah, I think it just rocking song, you know, right after Caravan just keeps that rhythm going, you know, just right in your face, doesn't let up.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the only time they played that live was on Time Machine.
Yeah, it didn't even get played on its own respective tour.
Right. Before even the
Yeah,
album
Yeah.
was released, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a
yeah,
little disappointed about
yeah,
that. You know, it was great to see it, but thought it should have
yeah.
been again, right?
Interesting, interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Rockin' tune, man. Nice and heavy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And number two is the Analog Kid. Um, I almost think it should have been the opening track, just the way it immediately starts. A
Mm,
lot of Rush albums immediately, you know, Tom Sawyer, One Little Victory, they're already setting the pace where, you know, some do
right.
obviously a great song, but it's kind of mellow, slow start, just since. So that's thought. And number one,
Okay. Number one. Oh
Oh,
God.
number one. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. I was
I
gonna guess B2B, but you already said
it's
that.
either Free Will or Red Barchetta. I just don't know which one to go with.
I'm gonna say Armor and Sword.
All right. I'm going with Bravado.
I'm gonna say Free Will.
Red Barchetta.
Of course.
Ah,
Right. You know, right. Moving pictures. Another, you know, rocking tune with kind of an epic story, but in a, you know, shorter time frame.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can't go
Yeah.
wrong with that. Right. And it's right, it's all over the place, this the different sections of it.
Yeah. So the one track that you've said so far that hasn't been said is BU2B, right? Has anyone said
Yeah.
that yet? I know it's
No,
been brought
nobody
up, but it
has.
hasn't been on anybody's list. Yeah. Um, I said in the openers, and I think probably the closers episode as well that we did, top five openers and closers, that I think Caravan was my number one for the openers because of the fact that it flows like a story and it had to be number one, right? So
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I considered BU2B as well for that, but I
Mm,
tried to deviate from
from
the
the norm.
from the norm. I tried to deviate from my original explanation here a little bit and pivot off of that, but yeah, no, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Pat, what do
Awesome.
you got?
So Ryan, you were spot on
Yeah,
with the
Pat.
area, um,
What's
about
that?
the whole songs complementing, you know, the
Oh, yeah,
opener.
yeah, yep.
I had like the same thought. My number five was Armor and Sword because kind of like you said, like after Far Cry, it works so well, and like I think it's just like a driving force, you know, after that song ends, to kind of like keep a good pace for the album. My number four, I have After Image. Um, I probably added this because I thought that while like Distant Early Warning kind of like creeps along, in some ways, and kind of ends with like a bang almost. Um, this is just a faster paced song, After Image, that just it comes in like a train, and
Yeah.
it's sounds fantastic in that second slot. My number three is Analog Kid. And I think in terms of like the mood of the album, you know how like Subdivisions is very serious and realistic, whereas Analog Kid is kind of just happier and
Yeah.
it brings up the whole mood of the album. That's what I liked a lot about the beginning of Signals. Number two, I have Free Will, only because like yeah, it's just another mega hit, you know, from the catalog, and it really keeps a powerful pace to start off that album. And it probably like yeah, that and Spirit of the Radio is like probably the best like 1-2 punch, at least in my opinion. So yeah, anyone want to guess what my number one is?
Oh man.
And it has not been said before, so that's your hint.
Oh, uh-oh.
It has
Okay.
not been said before at
Oh.
all by anybody.
All right. I'm gonna that
Has it
doesn't
been
make
guessed?
sense.
No,
It hasn't even
No,
been
so
guessed.
the song title has not been said at all.
or guessed. Yeah, no, yeah,
A
exactly.
Passage to Bangkok. That's my guess.
That was my first thought was Passage to Bangkok.
Yeah.
Oh,
In a
Um,
similar vein, I'm going to say Circumstances.
mm-mm.
I'm gonna say Ceiling Unlimited.
hmm.
Okay. Anyone else want to guess?
I'm gonna echo the circumstances comment.
Okay, I did think of Circumstances, but just like any song following like a massive epic is like, you know, it really can't fill the shoes, you know. But Ryan was actually correct. It is Ceiling Unlimited. It was literally like 5 minutes before I joined. Like I actually changed it up. I think I had. But the reason I put Ceiling Limited is like when you take an album like Vapor Trails, it's so sad and serious and melancholy, um, and like
Yeah.
heavy. And like so you start off with One Little Victory. It's such like a badass song. You have Ceiling Unlimited, which is to me it's just like it's another happy song. It's very energetic. Um, and then you have Ghost Rider, which is very you know melancholy. It's you know it's sad and another serious song. So I kind of think it's like it's sandwiched between those like two different like emotions. And I think that just makes it like that more important to me.
Cool.
It's a good
You
explanation.
know,
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
that's
I
a
hadn't
great
thought of that.
that's a great explanation. And you know one thing that I've noticed about a lot of second songs, well, okay, I haven't really counted them, so maybe it's not as many. A lot of them, at least the ones that we've mentioned, start with the full band. Like Ceiling Unlimited starts with everybody together. Free Will starts with everybody together. Bravado starts with everybody together. Grand Design starts with everybody together. Red Barchetta does not, right? But it starts with the full band together, which I think it makes a powerful statement just in and of itself.
Absolutely.
Did you say Grand Designs,
Yeah.
Pat?
No, I did not.
You did not.
It was
Oh,
an honorable
pass.
mention.
So, all right. Well, you and me are, well, along with Todd as well, but are huge Power Windows nuts, and I think we've got some explaining to do why we didn't include or include Grand Design.
Yeah.
I have an explanation.
Yeah.
I
Because
think
I
every
did.
album is so perfect. You could rearrange that album in any order, and it will be amazing.
Yeah,
Boom.
that's true. It'd still work if
That's
That's
you
true.
jump
that's
around.
Yeah.
why. I mean,
Yeah.
I've said
You
that a
would.
hundred
You
times how
could. You
balanced that
could.
album is, how all the songs are just really
Yeah.
good songs, none that are elite songs, I guess. But like, we just put up the recently put up the demos, the Power Windows demos tracks. You can listen to it on our YouTube channel. The order of that is different than what it was when it went into production, when it was actually released. And Middletown Dreams goes first and Big Money goes second.
Oh, wow.
I like Big Money first, but I like Middletown Dreams up near the top. It just feels like it would complement the Big Money a little bit more than Grand Designs would. So I just the order of
Hmm.
that compared to that's why I didn't put it. I considered it for sure, but the last thing I want to mention before we wrap here is well, two things. Um, the first being not many actually nothing was considered pre-Xanadu, right? So 2112,
Yes.
Progressive Steel, Fly By Night,
And debut.
and
Yeah.
Debut. Nobody picked
Nothing.
anything from those, and nobody picked anything from Hemispheres. Why do you think
Mm-mm.
that is? I have my thoughts, but I'm curious what your thoughts are. Why do you think that is?
Uh,
I don't think they got as good at sequencing
it,
until later. I think that was a skill they picked up later.
When I was making my list, those were the first four were immediately off. I don't, they just weren't even under consideration for
Same
me.
here.
Right.
Yeah.
wow, wow.
I
I
consider
think,
Bangkok just because but to Pat's point, this was my reasoning was
yeah,
it's just these epics, these sidelong epics. It's hard to balance an album when you have all these sidelong epics. Like
yeah,
Bangkok does it well. I mean,
Yeah.
well enough, all
Mhm.
things considered. But yeah, to me, it just didn't.
Especially
And
when
then with
the second song is the first song on the second side. Right.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, but
yeah,
like
true.
with hemispheres, that it just didn't fit either. So
Exactly.
it just
Yeah.
yeah.
Were there other albums we did not hit
Yeah, nobody
at
said
all?
Time Stand Still, surprisingly. I was kind of
Mhm.
surprised
Yep.
at that.
Time
You
Stands
guessed
Still.
that for me, and
I
that's
think
my number
I
six.
did.
It
I
got
think
cut.
that's it.
Oh,
I think that's
oh,
it.
Stick it out.
Oh,
counterparts.
stick it
Yeah,
out,
stick it
stick it out.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
Stick it out. Nobody mentioned that either.
To me, "Stick It Out" is like a perfect number three song. I don't know why it always has like for me.
I
Ah,
agree.
It's not like I don't know
I don't
why.
like it in number two.
Yeah, thank you.
Uh,
Yeah, I just
Maybe it feels that way because wasn't it number three on the Time Machine tour? Didn't they do it? It was third.
possibly
It was third or fourth. It went The Spirit of Radio, Time Stand Still.
that
I
or
I
think
don't. I
I
don't
think
remember.
Stick It Out, wasn't it? I'm
could
just gonna check this real quick.
Maybe
In the meantime,
nobody
definitely
picked. Nobody picked. I think I'm going bald.
No.
You
no.
know, I think it's funny on that.
Presto and then Stick It Out.
Presto. Okay,
But
so it was
regardless,
fourth.
for me, that's kind of why it never really felt like a second track because of
Mm.
that.
mm,
But go ahead, Jim.
No, I was gonna say, but I think I'm going bald. I mean, the lyrics are so comedic in a way. I think a lot of people don't take the song seriously, even though from a musical standpoint, there's a lot going on that was a little bit different than what Rush was doing before.
absolutely.
Agreed. All right, everybody watching, either live or after the fact, please let us know what your top five album second songs are. I mean, if you
Yeah.
want to take the massive undertaking and rank them all, go ahead by all means. Leave
No,
that in the
oof.
comments.
That's a
I'm
that's a rough undertaking.
I'm
That's
sure,
hard.
yeah, I'm sure
That's
we'll be
hard.
back and we'll review some of the comments and we'll discuss with you. But I can announce that the next two episodes of Rush Roundtable will be in 2024. We are going to take, uh, a week slash couple weeks off here, I guess, for the Christmas and New Year holidays. And the next episodes will be back. They'll be centered entirely around Neil Peart on the 5th and the 12th, which of course is the surrounding the date of his passing and the date of the announcing of his passing, the 7th and the 10th, back in
Yep.
2020. So we are doing two episodes to honor Neil, and they're going to be awesome. We have a lot of great panelists, a few very special guests as well, so you're not going to want to miss those. And yes, we will see you at this point. Well, at least for Rush Roundtable, we'll see you in 2024. See you.